Hey guys, welcome to my May TBR. Now if you guys have been around for a couple of years, May is my birthday month, so I always like to pick a bunch of books that I'm excited to read. I mean, I always try to do that in some ways, but like May even more so. So I have a few books that I need to read for various things, but I'm excited about all these books that are sitting here on my stack, and I may be able to add a couple of other ones on. We are moving in the month of May, so that's going to affect my reading a bit as well. Yeah, I've got a couple different year-long reading challenges that I'm doing that have to do with, or that I have like books picked out for. So we will just go through these kind of haphazardly here. The first book on my stack is Mr. Parker Pyne Detective. This has another title as well, I believe. So I've been doing reading an Agatha Christie every month this year, and I'm doing an exclusive video over on my Patreon for my Windy Poplars and House of Dreams tier, sharing some thoughts as I'm going, expanding more on the books. I just barely finished April's Agatha Christie. Loved it so much. So hopefully I'll have another favorite in this one. Okay, I lied, you guys. I got out June's Agatha Christie in case I didn't unpack things in time. I remember this now. I left that out, didn't pack it up. In May, we're gonna be reading The Big Four. This is a Hercule Poirot mystery, so Parker Pyne, we're gonna read him in June. The Big Four is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the Poirot series. So I think I have not read that series in order at all, but I think it's the next one in order that I haven't read. I've read the last one and a bunch in between, but this one, I don't know what it's about. Framed in the doorway of Hercule Poirot's bedroom stands an uninvited guest, coated from head to foot in dust. Oh, now my battery's gonna die. Well, suspense. That was probably more suspenseful for me than for you because it was like 1 second for you and I had to swap out a battery. Okay. The man stares for a moment, then he sways and falls. Who is he? Is he suffering from shock or just exhaustion? Above all, what is the significance of the figure 4 scribbled over and over again on a sheet of paper? Poirot finds himself plunged into a world of international intrigue, risking his life and that of his twin brother to uncover the truth. Ooh, twin brother in quotation marks, so I'm curious about that one. Yeah, so my bad. We're reading this one in May, other one in June. I'll get it figured out. Okay, Rebecca from Wilson Hill, I think that's her channel name. She is doing a readathon to do with flowers, and it had something to do with like reading a book with flowers on the cover, and she told me about it and I was like, yes, I need that because I've been meaning to read Belladonna for a while. Has this ended up on at least one other TBR this year, possibly 2, but I'm clearing out my books, so I'm gonna have to read the books that I have available, and I'm leaving this one out so that I can hopefully read it. Belladonna is a poisonous flower, and then Foxglove is book 2, also a poisonous flower. Sounds interesting. Okay, so I've read the beginning little blurb a few times. It always sounds really good. Orphaned as a baby, 19-year-old Signa has been raised by a string of guardians, each more interested in her wealth than her well-being, and each has met an untimely end. Her remaining relatives are the elusive Hawthorns, an eccentric family living at Thorn Grove, an estate both glittering and gloomy. Its patriarch mourns his late wife through wild parties, while his son grapples for control of the family's waning reputation, and his daughter suffers from a mysterious illness. But when their mother's restless spirit appears claiming she was poisoned, Signa realizes that the family she depends on could be in grave danger and enlists the help of a surly stable boy to hunt down the killer. I'm hoping it's good. I love the cover. So often I pick up a book because of the cover and I'm disappointed. So hopefully this one's a good one. My patron of the month, so every month I have a random number generator. that picks one of my patrons in my Windy Poplars or House of Dreams tier, and they get to choose a book for me to read. So in May, I'm going to be reading Generous Justice, How God's Grace Makes Us Just by Timothy Keller. I've really loved his books, and so I'm always looking forward to reading more of his. It is commonly thought in secular society that the Bible is one of the greatest hindrances to doing justice. Isn't it full of regressive views? Didn't it condone slavery? Why look to the Bible for guidance on how to have a more just society? But Timothy Keller challenges these preconceived beliefs and presents the Bible as a fundamental source for promoting justice and compassion for those in need. I mean, it's Tim Keller. It's gonna be good. Then I am still trying to do Kayla's From Books and Lala, her Buzzwordathon. In May, the prompt is every. So the book title has to have the word every in it. And last I had checked, I have acquired a couple new books, and so I haven't checked through those. I only had one book, to my knowledge, that fit this, and that's Every Crooked Path by Stephen James. So I think this is the first book or the prequel. Yes, this is a prequel to this mystery thriller series that he has. I've only read book one, and I keep meaning to read the second one, but I guess I'm going to start with the prequel now. I really enjoyed book one. I don't know why I haven't read more. There's some kind of inscription in the back of this book, and I can't quite read what it says. I will let you see. Looks like it says, "For my hero something or other." Anyone transcribe that? I can't see what that says, but yeah, maybe that's a separate mystery that I need to solve. I'm hoping this will give me the inspiration to continue the series because I did enjoy book one. And then I've been feeling in the mood for some classics, so I wanted to read The Professor by Charlotte Bronte. Now, for the Read Your Bookshelf Challenge, I have not decided if I'm going to be doing, which route I'm going to be doing. If you haven't checked out my video on what we're doing for the Read Your Bookshelf Challenge, this might not make sense. I have a separate video on that. But for April, we came together, we all read a book with a redheaded character. For May, you can, what was it here? The Montgomery side is read a book by a favorite author. The Doyle side is read a book by a new to you author. And so I have options here. I could read The Professor by Charlotte Bronte, or kind of like, I don't think Charlotte Bronte has been a favorite author. I've enjoyed Emily and Anne a little more, but I really do want to read The Professor. I'm in the mood for a classic, and it's like a short one. This was her first novel, and I think, yeah, it is based on her own experiences in Belgium. This is the only novel in which she chose to use a male narrator. She would later rework the heartfelt story with a woman as the leading character in Villette. Oh cool, I own Villette as well, so definitely should read this one first. I didn't realize that. Yeah, so I feel like this would be a stretch if I chose to read this one for the Read Your Bookshelf Challenge. Okay, couple more left. Oh, this one could count as like a favorite author. I've only read one book by this author, but I really enjoyed it. So S.E. Hinton, I have That Was Then, This Is Now, and I really enjoyed The Outsiders. So I would really like to get to this one. This is about friends who grew up as close as brothers. Now things are changing. Brian's growing up, spending a lot of time with girls, thinking about who he wants to be. Mark still lives for the thrill of the moment. They're growing apart but holding on until Brian makes a shocking discovery about Mark. I really enjoyed The Outsiders. I don't know how old she was when she wrote this one. I know she was like 14, 15 when she wrote The Outsiders, a little bit older when she published it, I think. So intriguing. Might be an option for the Read Your Bookshelf Challenge. I'm just gonna play that part by ear. Okay, this is a classic that's like chunkier. Maybe I won't get to this one, but The Moonstone, I want it like closer to my radar so that I get to it soon. I've heard that this is the first and greatest of English detective novels. So like the first English detective novel, it sounds intriguing to me. So this is the legendary Moonstone diamond is given to a spirited Rachel on her 18th birthday, the gift of an uncle who came by it dishonestly. Originally plundered from a sacred statue in an Indian temple, The diamond is said to bring misfortune to those who prevent its return to its spiritual guardians. When the diamond vanishes overnight, Inspector Cuff of Scotland Yard is brought to investigate. Suspicion falls on a band of Indian jugglers, but also on Franklin Blake, the man Rachel loves. I'm very curious. I've heard good things. Like, most people talk, when they talk about Wilkie Collins, they talk about The Woman in White. But then when I mentioned that book in a different video, but lots of people said this one was also really good. And this will work for my Victorian, for like my literature degree. This was originally published sometime in the Victorian era, I think. But these editions drive me nuts because they just say the year that this edition was published, which is not useful. The Moonstone, 1868. So yes, that will be in the Victorian era. So I want to read that one. If I do start it in May, it will probably like drag through a few months. And then in a couple book hauls ago, I shared Winter Heart by H.D. Fox, and I realized we are not like in winter at all, or in the land of snow and ice, like it says on the back here. But I really want to read this. So this is like a Nordic fantasy story where a prince finds himself running from the only life he's ever known, thrown into a world of magicians, relics, healers, and a mystery that may mean the end of everything he loves. And then there's an apprentice to the head mage. Yeah, I'm curious. Love this cover. And some, like, I really do like reading seasonal reads, but I don't really like reading summer books. So I think what I've decided is I just like reading fall and winter books all year round. Because in the fall and winter I'm like, oh yeah, I love reading seasonally. But the truth is I just like reading those kinds of books. So apparently I'll just keep reading fall and winter books all year round, with the odd book that is a little bit more springy and summery. I really like this cover. Looks so cool. Love the artwork. So as of right now, that is my plan for May, unless I forgot some. But like, I've packed up pretty much all my books, so if I forgot some, they might have to go on to a TBR for a different month. I would love to hear what you guys are reading in May. If you guys have any book recommendations for me. Always like to chat about all the books in the comments with you guys.